Okay, so we're gonna press the knuckle, or press the bearing back into the knuckle. We have it mounted in the press. We have selected a plate that is smaller than the diameter of the bearing bore. So as we push the bearing into the knuckle, the plate won't get stuck in the knuckle with the bearing. All right, go ahead. All right, hold on 1 second. Now, what we're seeing is the bearing's going down, and it's making some noise. This is normal, but what we're gonna do as we start to get close to the bottom of the bore is we're gonna pay attention to our pressure gauge. And right now, we'll give the press 3 pumps so you can see the amount of pressure that it takes for the bearing to go in. So we're staying below 5 tons, and the bearing's going in. When the bearing contacts the snap ring at the other side, or if there's not a snap ring, a shoulder, the bearing's going to stop moving and the pressure's going to shoot up pretty quick. All right, so it stopped moving, and we can see that the pressure spiked up just to about 5 tons, and that's our sign that we need to stop unless we want to buy a new knuckle. All right, so what I like to do is try and get one end down in the bore and lock it in. And then I'll take my screwdrivers, and just like I worked them out, I'll work them down in the bore. Once I get it in the bore, I also like to take my screwdriver and just make sure that the ring is seated. This one is not rusty, so we shouldn't have a problem, but I just lightly give them a tap and make sure that they're seated all the way in the knuckle before I put the car back together. We're gonna put the outer seal in, and we could use a seal driving tool, or we can use a hammer and just work around the outside. So I'm going to use a hammer. We'll pretend we don't have seal driving tools. And what I'm going to do is gently drive the seal in and get it started, and then just move the hammer around until the seal's all the way in. Because we have one more dust seal that we have to install on the inside. Is we're going to press the hub back into the bearing. We need to be careful in this last step because we can destroy our new bearing. There's an interference fit between the hub and the inner race of the bearing. So when we're pressing the hub into the bearing, we need to support the bearing by the inner race. If we don't, the inner race is going to get pushed out, and we're going to have to try and push it back onto the hub, and that's not fun. So we found a tool that's smaller than the bearing bore that will fit on the race. We found a socket that we can support our tool with to hold the knuckle up off the press table. All right. We have the inner race supported with our plate and our socket. We've got the knuckle mounted up in the press. We're ready to press the hub in. We're going to keep an eye on our pressure. We're going to see lower pressures here than when we drove the bearing in. The hub should slide in pretty easily. so it's not even registering on our scale. All we need to do now is watch our hub into our bearing. And the same rule applies with this as it did the bearing. When the hub contacts our holding fixture at the bottom, it's going to stop moving and pressure is going to go up dramatically. That's an indication to the press operator they should stop pumping. So now we have pressure on our press. That tells me that the hub has contacted the plate on the other end, and we're done.